Hi everybody, welcome to the Waldock Way. I'm Jessica, and this video is a collaboration that is hosted by myself and April from The Simple Rugged Life. I will link our channels as well as the playlist in the description box down below because you're not going to want to miss anything. So today's video is 10 things I don't do as a homeschool mom or a homeschooler. I really wanted to do this video because the number one thing that I am either commented on or sent as a message is either, how do you do it all? Or it'll be a comment to the extent of, I wish I had the time, or I wish I did that, or I wish I could do that, or how do you do it? How do you find time for it? And so I wanted to tell you 10 things I don't do. So maybe you will understand the things that I do, the things I have time for. Number one, I don't do curriculum. I don't, not in the way it's intended, not in the way it's laid out, not in the way it's designed. We use curriculum as a resource. We dabble in it. We pull from different things. We never do a curriculum from start to finish, page one to page whatever. We may complete a curriculum, but I promise you we took 1,000 detours on the way there, and I probably didn't use the lesson, the teacher's manual, and I probably skipped things or modified it to make it work. I've never bought a box curriculum, ever. And we just don't use curriculum the way it's meant to be used. So there you go. That's number one. Number two is I don't lesson plan, not in the traditional sense. Because I don't use curriculum the way it's meant to be used, I don't lesson plan the way a traditional person would lesson plan, which is why I made my own planner, because I never could find one that would work for me. For the most part, what I do is more of a plan the resources I have that I would like to use, and writing of a list of things that I need or things I have on hand. I do plan out unit studies, and 9 times out of 10, that is planned because Emily has specifically requested it. So if she comes to me and says, Mom, I want to learn about dinosaurs, I would plan a unit of dinosaurs, but I don't lesson plan there's 180 lessons, so that means we need to do one a day. So today we're going to do lesson 23, and I don't lesson plan like that at all. Number 3, we don't start early. Not a morning person, that's not a secret. I'm never going to be a morning person. I've tried to force myself. It's never going to work. And when I do try, it doesn't turn out well. So we're lucky if we even sit down to start morning basket at 10 a.m. We are probably doing morning basket between 10:30 and 11:30 most days. I don't start early. It's not what I do. I don't like it. It makes for a miserable mom, makes for a miserable daughter. We just don't start early. I also don't require that Emily get dressed. I do require she brush her hair. I require she brush her teeth. I don't care if she wears pajamas. We homeschool. Isn't that supposed to be one of the luxuries of homeschooling? She can be in a nightgown. She can be in her pajamas. I don't care. If she's comfortable and she's ready to do school and she's clean, I don't care what she's wearing. She can be in a costume, which sometimes she is. So, and that's okay with me. I don't use handwriting. Anything. I've tried handwriting curriculums in the past, and they make her scream and cry and miserable, and she's a perfectionist, so seeing that perfect A in this corner and trying to match it just would literally drive her to tears. So I don't do it. I embraced my inner Julie Bogart and just said, this isn't worth it. Even all the brownies in the world weren't working. So we do copy work, and we do handwriting in the real life application. We write thank you cards, and we write birthday cards, and we draw, and that I don't use a handwriting curriculum at all. And I will probably never use one again. Just not worth it. Not in this house, not for my daughter. You pick your battles, and that was just one that I was tired of losing. So we don't use it. I don't do crafts. Now, Emily has everything she could need for a craft, and she tapes and glues and paints to her heart desires. I will do art projects. I'm not a craft person. I've gotten her a few craft subscription kits, and she follows the directions and she does them herself. And if you are a mom who loves crafts, or your kid's old enough to do crafts, then I really recommend Megan from Craft and Boogie. She has amazing kits, and I love her, and I wish she'd come craft with my daughter, but I don't enjoy crafts. The tiny pieces of paper and glitter and the glue, and it makes my OCD it physically hurts me. I can't do it. So she has a table in her homeschool room, and it's out of site so I can be away and she can craft, and she's responsible enough that she can do crafts, but I don't do them. I don't plan them. I don't participate in them. I'm not a craft person. Just not. I also don't teach cooking or baking. I don't cook from scratch. I don't bake from scratch. Give me a box of brownies any day of the week, but I don't do it from scratch. I'm not the cook or the chef in this house. My husband is. So they will occasionally cook together. And yes, Emily can follow a direction on the back of a box of brownies and a cake and make it. But like the mamas who you see baking fresh bread, and I love them and I wish I could, but that's not me. It's not something I do or enjoy or have time for, and so that's just something we don't do in our homeschool. I don't make that a priority because it's not a priority for me. I don't limit screens. I don't see that there's a problem with screens, and we use them quite a bit for education. She has a tablet and she has tons of educational apps on there. The only time she will be limited is if she is gotten herself in trouble and she's lost. That is a privilege. But I don't limit it as far as like, okay, in 30 minutes you have to be off, or you can only have it between, this time and this time. We don't limit it. I will sometimes give her alternatives, but I don't, it's okay with me. We watch TV together in the evening as a family. For instance, when we were doing our pirate unit, we watched a movie every night together. We watched all the Pirates of the Caribbean. We watched Hook. We watched Peter Pan, and we loved it. We enjoyed it. It was a blast. And it actually helped Emily learn more about pirates, because while Pirates of the Caribbean is obviously fiction, it gave her a good sense of, how the pirates worked and how the ships, worked as far as shooting and how they were set up. And it was actually really cool for her because she had read all of the nonfiction books about pirates, and so she could relate it as we watched the movies. So I don't limit screens. I see them as a resource for education, and I use them as such. We don't do a lot of extracurricular activities. So we live an hour away from town, so doing a ton of extracurricular activities would have me in the car a lot, and we just don't. Plus, Emily gets very overwhelmed if we do things like that. We've tried. If we do more than one or two at a time, she's super overwhelmed and exhausted and turns cranky. She prefers to actually kind of be at home. She's more introverted. So she gets to choose one like a large extracurricular activity each semester or each year, depending on how long it lasts. And that's it. So right now she's doing 4-H. And that is her one big thing, and she loves it, and she's never asked to do anything else. If she did, we would probably try to make it happen within reason, but she hasn't, so we don't. So we don't have co-ops, we don't have dance and gymnastics and sports. Right now, all she's doing is 4-H. Let me see. Oh, I think the last one is that we don't actually do school in our schoolroom most of the time. We have a beautiful schoolroom. It's set up beautiful. It stores a lot of our stuff, and she does a lot of her crafts and things down here, but 9 times out of 10, we end up doing school in our living room on the couch or at the kitchen bar or the coffee table. We very, very rarely sit down and do school at our school table. And I'm looking over here because it's sitting there to the left. And right now you couldn't do school on it if you wanted to, because it's covered in craft stuff, where Emily was doing a craft before bed. So those are 10 things I don't do as a homeschool mom. I just don't. It's not something I enjoy. It's not something I do. And it's probably something I'm never going to change or do, for that matter. So I would love it if you would tell me in the comments down below things that you just don't do as a homeschool mom. Things you don't enjoy, things you don't do, things you don't see yourself probably doing ever in the near future either. Because what I love about this community and about homeschooling is that there is a different path for everybody. No one way is right. And that we can all do what we enjoy and still teach our children. And they can still all, we can tailor it to them and their personalities, and to us and our personalities too. And I just wanted us to have a community of people coming together and telling you all the things we don't do, so nobody's looking at the other person comparing themselves, because comparison is the thief of all joy, as we know. So you go on, rock as a homeschool mom, doing you, and I'm going to go ahead and do me.